moment believe that the former finance minister wouldn't know these facts. But I take the liberty to put it before you, saying, you faced the crisis and the outcome was Fragile 5. India's GDP was 10th largest in the world. We faced a crisis, but India is one of the fastest growing economy today. So, and also, we also faced crisis, and therefore, you facing COVID, I'd like to draw the attention of this Honorable August House, sir. Congress-led UPA itself admitted that India was not unduly affected by the 2008 global financial crisis. In 2011, sir, the then Finance Minister, Shri Pranab Mukherjee, had said, and I quote, India, unlike most other economies, was not seriously affected by the financial turmoil of 2008 in the developed world. So the crisis was not big, even by the then standard. And COVID is a different one, in that it was not just a financial crisis, it was a crisis for lives. People had to live to come out of it. And livelihood was also severely affected. It is in that situation to provide domestically made vaccine to all the people, at least 1 dose, and some 2 doses, and some even the 3rd dose, and then make sure that moratorium is given, no industry should suffer, no one should be pulled up to the court saying you're on the NPA. So a comprehensive plan was laid by Honorable Prime Minister to save lives, livelihoods, and recover the economy. So, I want to highlight, sir, also a few points from the white paper which was released in 2024. In the 6 years between 2009 to 2014, the ratio of India's gross fiscal deficit to gross domestic product was at least 4.5%. It was between 4.5 and 5 in 3 years, between 5% and 6% in 1 year, and more than 6% in 2 years. What was hidden was even higher. The special bonds, that is the oil bonds, in lieu of cash subsidy issued to the oil marketing companies, fertilizer companies, and Food Corporation of India, totaled nearly 2 lakh crore in the 5 years from 2006 to 2010. Accounting for such hidden debt would have swelled the fiscal deficit from 6.1 to 7.9% in 2008-9 alone. So, one, the numbers were not really stating the full story, and two, you really didn't face a big crisis, which is the words which I can see from Shri Pranab Mukherjee's own statement. So the crisis was nowhere in comparison, now that I'm looking with the benefit of hindsight, and the numbers were anyway not telling the whole story. So I would like to submit in all modesty that comparison was not right. And second, sir, unfortunately, former finance minister also said no one remembers the budget. Every one of the taxpayer, as I said a minute ago, has benefited. The small, the low income and the middle income ones have benefited substantially. And we want to do that. We want to respect the taxpayers. Actually, when there is a level of expectation being met, I'm not saying every expectation is met, but at least when the middle income groups wanted some recognition and some relief, and when we have given something, People are I've also been traveling to different places where I've been talking about the budget. I've heard people say, thank you very much, it's a great relief. We can now decide whether we want to use that money, consumption or investment or savings, or spend on our children's education. So actually, there are people remembering the budget for that and coming to me to say that, which they didn't have to.
Last week in Chennai also people can do it.
Yes, sir. So, people remember the budget or don't remember the budget. I'm seeing it as probably this budget has not given enough things with which the Congress is able to crash the government or hit the government saying, oh, you've not done this, oh, you've not done this. In general, they are unable to pick anything as criticism, and therefore this generic, no one remembers the budget. I would like to think that that was a statement in a left-handed sort of a compliment for the budget. So then, I thought the worst thing was to hear this from the finance minister, former finance minister. I can't believe he said this, but I want to admit, and therefore I want to explain why that wasn't right for him to have said it. There's no fiscal strategy in the fiscal policy statement. There is no guarantee that the fiscal deficit will decline. Sir, just off the cuff, since after 2020, we gave ourselves a glide path for the fiscal deficit reduction. And every year, if anything, anyone could have looked at the fiscal deficit number the moment the budget was read out. Not 1 year did we slip. Every year we've kept with the glide path given, and we are going towards meeting the fiscal deficit which we have given in the glide path, which everybody has looked at. So, the government has actually brought out a clear fiscal strategy for the year 25-26, and that is as required by the FRBM Act 2003. I would like to mention that a full section has been dedicated in the medium-term fiscal policy strategy statement explaining the government's fiscal policy strategy in 25-26 budget document set that you get. It is there. I quote from para 37, the medium-term fiscal policy strategy statement. I quote, sir, the fiscal policy stands for 25-26, inter alia, includes cross-sectoral reforms to augment the economy's growth potential and its employment intensity, boosting domestic demand, continued focus on effective capital expenditure, creating new capacities and cutting-edge new technologies, investments in the development of human capital, saturation approach to social welfare, and strengthening the social safety net. Its objectives are to invigorate and sustain inclusive and equitable economic growth, enhance resilience, to mitigate risks, protect the vulnerable sections of the society, and bolster the country's overall macroeconomic fundamentals, unquote. So this is there in the document which was presented during this budget. I would like to further mention that the very para itself very much aligns with the government's own policy announcements which was made in the budget speech. I quote again from para 3 of the same statement. The nimble fiscal policy strategy adopted by the Union government in the past COVID-19 pandemic years has generated desired fiscal policy results while providing for the country's development needs. In line with the commitment made in budget for 2021-22, the country is well on track to attain a fiscal deficit to GDP ratio below 4.5% in 2025-26. Continuing on this path, the union government in the budget speech of 24-25, the regular budget, has outlined a medium-term fiscal policy stance. It seeks to keep the central government fiscal deficit to GDP ratio such that the debt to GDP ratio is on a declining path, and this is in Annex 1, so anybody can see. So it's amazing that in spite of this explicit mention in documented sets which go out, these are clearly given. I would request and appeal to the former finance minister to go back, look at these. Look at these, read these. And they are in alignment with what we've said in the budget speech. They are not one way, we are not another way. Everything aligns. So, with a bit of hesitation, and I hope you will give me that little margin because I'm defending my position here. I find if the former finance minister says something here in this house, actually on those items, on those issues, Government of India under the leadership of Prime Minister Modi achieves that much and more. I'll give you one example. Sir, on 9th February 2017, former finance minister spoke and he said he doubted the digital transactions, the digital public infrastructure that we created. And he said, and I quote, "You have now made certain transactions mandatorily non-cash. I support it, but that is the way to go. And not to tell people, go to your village fair, buy potatoes and tomatoes, and pay 7 rupees 50 paise by a credit card. What will the poor lady do? Does she have a POS machine? Does she have a POS machine there? Is it connected to an electricity source? Is there a Wi-Fi there? Is the internet working there? What kind of false picture you are presenting?" Unquote. Sir, action proves what we have done in terms of digital public infrastructure under the leadership of Prime Minister Modi. So, the concern expressed by the former finance minister has been squarely addressed. Similarly, in the fiscal deficit related concern that is expressed, I'm sure he will now appreciate that we have laid the path both for the immediate term and the medium term, and we shall achieve it like we've done it till now, all the 4-5 years. This year ends the number, coming year will end the number, below 4.5% fiscal deficit. Not 1 year's slippage. I'm sure this should give him adequate confidence to believe and trust in Prime Minister Modi's leadership. So about the levies, withdrawing of the levies, is it a reaction to President Trump's tariff war and so on? I have briefly explained it, that we have been doing this since 2023. Very clear example, there were two types of equalization levies. 6% levy imposed in the financial year 2016 and 2% levy imposed in 2020, which were applicable before July 2024 itself. The 2% levy was removed after stakeholder consultation, sir, in July budget to ease the compliance burden. And that was much before President Trump, even before he took his office. And similarly, several other steps have been taken. So the 6% levy which is being removed is a part of that process. And that's what is going on. And as I said, we will continue to rationalize on customs. So the last three, without taking much of the time. Sir, Member Sagarika Ghosh spoke about 10 years later, where is Sachedin? I want to just let know, first of all, I'll tell you where the Achedin ka voices will come. Yes, Sachedin for us. But before that, I want to remind that the party which he represents has not given any achedin to the people there, even per the Ma Mati Manush slogan that they follow. Because the cut money group, the Tola Basi group, is not allowing the good deeds to go down. Whether of TMC's good activities or the government, central government's good schemes, both TMC schemes and the Government of India schemes are not reaching the common people. The Tola Bazi is like a huge iron filter. It doesn't see through. Therefore, for Member Sagarika Ghosh, who have certainly seen her very anchoring in television channels before 2014, I've even participated in some of her debates, I would like to say, sir, Achhe Din for us is tirelessly serving the nation so that the common people benefit, and I will explain. We are tan samarpit, man samarpit, and desh ke liye ye jeevan samarpit. And through you, sir, I would like to tell Member Sagarika ji, instead of questioning from a biased political perspective, ask a common citizen, ask anywhere, Bengal or anywhere, who have directly benefited from our schemes. They're transformative. 55 crore Indians, if you ask them, especially women, empowered with bank accounts under Jan Dhan Yojana, अच्छे दिन आए हैं कि नहीं, जरूर बोलेंगे अच्छे दिन आए हैं, क्योंकि जन धन अकाउंट उनको मिला. Ask 4 crore families who received PM Awas Yojana, Jandan, PM Awas Yojana, अच्छे दिन है कि नहीं, अच्छे दिन है बोलते. Ask more than 12 crore rural households enjoying the dignity of toilets under Swachh Bharat mission, अच्छे दिन है. Ask 12 crore rural households receiving tap water under Jal Jeevan mission, अच्छे दिन है. Ask over 10 crore families liberated from smoke-filled kitchens under PM Ujjwala Yojana connections, अच्छे दिन है. Ask beneficiaries buying affordable medicines from 15,300 Jan Aushadhi Kendras at 50 to 80% cheaper rates, अच्छे दिन है. Ask 37 crore citizens protected by Ayushman Bharat's 5 lakh health insurance cover, annually 5 lakh, अच्छे दिन है. Sir, 68 lakh street vendors provided with credit support under PM Swanidhi, they are all guaranteed by Prime Minister, and the sovereign guarantee provided. They don't need to give any security or papers to be given or gehna being given or gold being given. अच्छे दिन है. Ask beneficiaries of over 50 crore loans sanctioned under PM Mudra loan, अच्छे दिन है. So, अच्छे दिन, sir, I want to say this, अच्छे दिन उन्हें ही दूर लग सकते हैं जिनके लिए शासन का मतलब सिर्फ भ्रष्टाचार और तोलाबाजी है. Sir, Member Priyanka Chaturvedi, I'm not sure if she's here, she spoke about cesses and surcharges. I want to underline, sir, I'm sure the honorable member is quite informed on this matter. It's not a novel tax that we have brought, cess or surcharge. It's been for a very long time a part of India's fiscal policy. Health and education cess and surcharge, for instance, were introduced in 2004. And as per Article 270 of the Constitution, cesses and surcharges are not shareable with the states. It's constitutionally clearly said. So for us to be told, you are not doing it, no. That's how the framework is. However, the receipts of levy of cesses are for meeting specific expenditure of the union government, be it education, be it health, be it road, be it transport. And contrary to the claims, sir, that states do not benefit from cesses and surcharges, I'd like to clearly say these are the funds which are being used for centrally sponsored schemes like Manrega, National Food Security Act, and these schemes are either predominantly or fully funded by the center but implemented by the states. Thereby, it benefits them. Sir, for example, Samagra Shiksha midday meal schemes are all funded by these cesses and surcharges. The states are the ultimate beneficiaries of cesses, as the cess collection are spent in the states itself. I want to underline the fact, sir. In the 6 years between 2019 and 20 and 24 to 25, 1920 to 24-25, 6 years, the cumulative utilization has exceeded collections, with 105% of the total cess collected already utilized. That is, in the 6 years, amount collected under cesses and surcharges is 15.14 lakh crores. What was utilized by the states? 15.97 lakh crores. So much more than what is collected in cesses and surcharges have actually gone to the states. So central government does not sit with that money because these are collected for specific reasons. So I literally come to the last one thing. Before I say that, the last point, I was quite fascinated by Honorable Member Thambidurai's intervention when he was talking, because we often hear statements, and one or two points which Honorable Member Thambidurai said is something which is important for us to recollect. He said, if I've heard him right, the overall outstanding liability of Tamil Nadu is more than 8 lakh crores. I guess member said that. And during the DMK period, 4 lakh crores have been taken in addition. This 8 lakh crore, 4 comes during the DMK rule. We don't know where the money has gone, and the DMK members criticize here about the central government. I'm indeed grateful to Member Thambidurai for having said that. And he also spoke about the scams where there are raids and so on. But I want to use this opportunity to talk about tax devolution to Tamil Nadu, sir. Sir, 58,021 crores has been budgeted as tax devolution for the upcoming year, 25-26, which will start from day after tomorrow. Tax devolution to Tamil Nadu between 2004 and 14 was 94,971 crores. Between 2014 and 24, which is the last year, we are not including this year, 2,92,013 crores, which is 207% more. Grants in aid and from Government of India during 2004 to 14 was 57,925 crores. Now, meaning 2014 to 24, 2,55,875 crore, 342% increase. So, if I'm comparing only 2 periods, sir, I would like to say net proceeds of shareable central taxes to states under finance commissions. Yes, I'm just going to read that. Will you please just hang on? I'm giving the percentages. 12th Finance Commission, sir, 2005 to 10, 30.5%. Net proceeds of shareable central taxes to states under finance commissions. 13th Finance Commission, 2010 to 15, 32%. 14th Finance Commission, 2015 to 20, 42%. 15th Finance Commission, 2020 to 26, 41%, and that is 1% reduction because of the UT, which is J&K. Now, sir, I also want to underline the fact that the Finance Commission, 14th Finance Commission, when the report was submitted and 2014 Honorable Prime Minister received the report and the Cabinet went through it and so on, there was one recommendation, sir, which is very important, because I've heard Member John Brittas also talking about central schemes, Priyanka Chaturvedi ji talking about, central sector schemes and so on. That Finance Commission, which actually raised the devolution from 32 to 42%, had said, you may please close down all the central sector schemes, now that the devolution is far more than before from your hands to the state. Close the central sector schemes. You shall shut it. No centrally sponsored schemes. But Prime Minister Modi, having been a chief minister in a state, understanding the requirements of the state, said, no, I will continue with these two schemes as well. So, if we are being repeatedly told, the Finance Commission gave this, he is actually keeping in mind the states and their priorities, did not go by that recommendation, which said you can shut these schemes. Having given from 32 to 42, please you can shut it. 32 to 42 is also accepted, but this suggestion is not accepted and we still go on funding the central sector schemes and central sponsored schemes. So please, we need to please put it in context rather than hurry to conclude about. Sir, Kerala, I have Member Santosh Kumar. And John Brittas, of course, has sought your permission not to be here today. With this, I will finish, sir. I won't take much of your time. Kerala has received 1.57 lakh crores in 2014 to 24, the current reference period, which is an increase of 239% over the UPA period. How much did they receive during 2004 to 14, sir? 46,300 crores. What are they receiving now? 1.57 lakh crores. Kerala is being differentiated, discriminated. Please, we follow what the recommendation of the Finance Commission is, and that is what is going to you all. And that is not lesser than what you received earlier. Grants and aid surged by 509%. Percentages. What did they receive in 2004 to 14? 25,630 crores. What are they receiving during 14 to 24? 1.56 lakh crores. Sir, over and above this, what the Finance Commission did not suggest, and I entirely give the credit to Honorable Prime Minister that post-COVID, because states also will have to revive their economies faster, he made it a point to say, please give a special assistance of capital expenditure for states. 50 years interest-free. Kerala received 2,715 crores. That was not even mentioned by the Finance Commission, but here we go. We made sure that Kerala also receives and doesn't suffer. So Kerala has never been, and I like to say this with a sense of responsibility, has never been supported better than this government, the way in which Prime Minister Modi has supported it. In terms of actual numbers, in terms of actual projects. And I'm not naming the project, there was a project, sir, where highway has been extended from one destination to a point, and from the other destination to this point, but midway there was it the Kollam Junction or something, which was waiting for 40 years. It was Prime Minister Modi who completed that little bit. It was litigated upon. From A to B, the road goes, but there is one little patch which, because it was in the courts and other things, every government gave excuses, it wasn't completed. Prime Minister Modi made sure that every hurdle was crossed legitimately, and that project was completed. 40 years for a road. That's fine, but wasn't it taken earlier? The initiative was not taken by state government earlier. It required Prime Minister Modi to come. Pehle karna tha na? Don't, please. 40 years they sat with it. Different central governments. They didn't do it at that time. State government also took initiative. Of course, it's your land. You will have to take initiative, but you didn't do it till before Prime Minister Modi came. So, sir, sir, I'll tell you. Sir, I'm sorry to have to bring this. I wouldn't have said it here in the House. And these are not my words. But it's hurting to hear Kerala repeatedly saying that you're discriminating against Kerala. You're discriminating even in our borrowing. April 1st, 2024, on a matter related borrowing limits, which is definitely supervised under Article 293. Sir, you are an expert on the Constitution. I don't need to talk. Article 293, Centre has the authority to look at the borrowings of the states. In that matter, they went to the Supreme Court, sir. And on April 1st, I'll just read two observations which were given. I never would imagine, I didn't think I'll be having a day when I have to say this, because all right, it happens in court, you have a difference, I have a difference, we go to the court. But repeated, in spite of giving all the facts, repeatedly alleging, oh, Prime Minister Modi doesn't do this for Kerala, doesn't do this. I want to quote the court's words, Supreme Court's own words. Quote, if the state has essentially created financial hardship, if the state, I repeat, if the state has essentially created financial hardship because of its own financial mismanagement, such hardship cannot be held to be an irreparable injury that would necessitate an interim relief against the union. I didn't say it, unquote. This is Supreme Court, sir. Another line that they said, we, again quote, we find prima facie that there is a difference in the mechanism which operates when there is underutilization of borrowing and when there is an overutilization of borrowing. The plaintiff, that is the state, Kerala, has not been able to demonstrate at this stage that even after adjusting the over-borrowing of the previous year, there is fiscal space to borrow, unquote. They thought they had more fiscal room to borrow and kept asking us. We said, you don't have the room. They went to the court, and the court said, prima facie, we don't. And the final quote said, again quote, we find prima facie merit in the submission of the Union of India that after inclusion of off-budget borrowing for the year 22-23 and adjustments for overborrowing of the past years, the state has no unutilized fiscal space and that the state has overutilized its fiscal space, unquote. Not my words, sir. And I wouldn't have wanted to bring this here because I want to work with the states, and I will say this again, I want to work with the states so that they are not in distress, but I have my limits under Article 293. And these are not my perception, court's words. One last quote from the CAG's audit report on Kerala state finances, report number 5, October 2024. I didn't intend to say it here, but when you repeatedly allege that the central government is discriminating against Kerala, I'm compelled to say this, sir. I'm sorry. The CAG audit report, I'm quoting, in 22-23, very important observation, sir. Quote, In 22-23, 97.88% of Kerala's debt receipts were utilized for repayment of outstanding debt. This indicates a poor debt management by the state government, unquote. The second one observation derived from the CAG report, sir, in the fiscal year, I'm not quoting here, in the fiscal year 23-24, Kerala state government allocated, very important, Kerala state government allocated 94,649 crores or 70% of its estimated revenue receipts towards committed expenditure, which is salary, interest and pensions. That's a committed expenditure, sir. And certainly, therefore, the revenues will have to improve. You will have to improve your revenues. And if that is required, you can't constantly say it is because you have not given me my due. Okay, sir? And the last thing which I have to say here, therefore, the truth is Kerala's fiscal crisis is a result of both the UDF and LDF government's reckless policies and not the fault of the central government. All right. So sir, I want to then say, so did it stop us from doing work in Kerala? No. As I said, Prime Minister Modi doesn't differentiate between states. He does for everybody. So what was given in August 2004, Union Cabinet approved the industrial node in Palakkad. Kannur Airport operationalized under RCS Udan. Site clearance granted for construction of a greenfield airport at Kottayam. Over 1,300 kilometers of national highways constructed in Kerala since 2014. 1,126 kilometers of national highway corridors being developed under Bharatmala Pariyojana in Kerala. India's first water metro inaugurated by PM Modi in April 2023. Kochi Metro inaugurated by PM Modi in 2017. 25 kilometers of rail operationalized since 2014. Old story. Old story. Money. It is still money. Old story. 60 years ago, when 60 or even more, when when Chief Minister, wait, you are from Communist Party, at least have this kind of a gratitude to remember this. When Namboodiripal's government was thrown out by the Congress. Until today, old as that, not this. You are using these roads even today. You are using these airports even today. But do remember the day when democracy was killed by an elected government being thrown out. Where were you at that time? Is that old or not? मेट्रो अभी चालू नहीं है, मेट्रो चालू नहीं है, पैसा किसके लिए? Of course, you are a Communist Party member, you are sitting in alignment with Congress. Congress is the one which throw you out. You don't want to remember that? Why you bring Namboodiripal? With respect, I will bring Namboodiripal, the patron of communism in India. You
Honorable Finance Minister. Honorable Finance Minister.
Sir.
That was the first ever left government in the world.
That's right, sir. First ever elected communist government in the world. You're right, sir. Thank you for putting in that. Sir, I am astonished that relevance here. You said these are all old. That's old. I want to say, Santosh Kumar ji, sir, these are still in utilization. People are using these ports and everything else even today. And he says this is old. But for me, even that 1959 throwing out the communist government is not old. Shows how Indian democracy was misused by the Congress. I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that. And a Communist Party member tells me what's the relevance of it. It hurts me no end, sir. It hurts me no end. I'm surprised. You should never forget it as long as you're fighting for your ideology. A minute ago you said, in ideology we'll fight with you. Are ideology भूल गए आप? भूल गए? नंबूदरी बात को भूल गए भाई? Sir. Kochi Metro inaugurated by Prime Minister Modi in 2017. It is still operational. Santosh Kumar ji uses it, but he says, what is it? That's old. He uses it, but he's forgotten. Not even a decade is completed, sir. 25 kilometers metro rail operationalized since 2014. Record railway budget allocation of 3,042 crores. 125 kilometers of new tracks constructed in Kerala since 2014. 2 Vande Bharat trains are started. 35 railway stations are being redeveloped. These are old, maybe for Santosh Kumar, but the people of Kerala remember all this. Social infrastructure, sir. I'll finish with this. 1.6 lakh houses built in PM Awas Yojana. 2.5 lakh household toilets constructed under Swachh Bharat Mission. Over 21 lakh tap water connections provided under Jal Jeevan Mission. 82 lakh Ayushman cards provided. 1,500 plus Jan Aushadhi Kendras operationalized. 66 lakh Jan Dhan accounts opened. Accounts are running even today. People are using it. 1.6 crore mudra accounts sanctioned. They are all now people living in there and benefiting because they were denied all this earlier. Now it's being given. Thank you very much, sir.
Secretary General, message from Lok Sabha.
Sir, with your kind permission, I rise to report that the Lok Sabha at its sitting held on 27th March 2025 passed the Immigration and Foreigners Bill 2025. I lay a copy of the said bill on the table.
I shall put the motion regarding consideration of the appropriation. Honorable Finance Minister. Clarification.
Lefty, yes. Lefty, yes, sir.
Honorable.
Honorable,
Yes, is there. Both mics are there.
I'm grateful to the Honorable Finance Minister for clarifying the sections regarding pensions and the validation. I understand that. It was section 142 to 145 of the original bill. It has now become 147 to 149 or 50. That's correct. And therefore, in order to validate, she has given retrospective effect from 1st June 1972. That is also correct, and I'm grateful. But I want to know if it retrospective for 1st June 72, and it is only purposes validation of the past, why is there not a sunset clause at the end? This power, which she is taken under the original bill section 144, will continue for the future also. So having given retrospective effect from 1st June 72, which is correct, she should add a sunset clause 31/3/2020.
Honorable Finance Minister.
Oddly, sir, I'm not getting into the details. Now newer pay commissions are also coming. They'll also talk about it. And based on that, whatever has got to be affected will take place. So we'll wait for the new Central Pay Commission report, and from there we'll take it.
I shall first put the motion regarding consideration of appropriation number 3, Bill 2025 to vote. The question is that the appropriation number 3, Bill 2025, as passed by Lok Sabha, be taken into consideration. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it.
The motion is adopted. We shall now take up clause by clause consideration of the bill. Clauses 2 to 4 and the schedule stand part of the bill. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. Clauses 2 to 4 and the schedule are adopted. Clause 1, the enacting formula and the title stands part of the bill. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. Clause 1, the enacting formula and the title are adopted. Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman to move that the bill be returned.
Sir, I rise to move that the bill be returned.
Motion moved that the bill be returned. The question is that the bill be returned. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. The bill is returned. I shall now put the motion regarding consideration of the Finance Bill 2025 to vote. The question is that the Finance Bill 2025 as passed by Lok Sabha be taken into consideration. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. The motion is adopted. We shall now take up clause by clause consideration of the bill. Clauses 2 to 150 and the first to third schedules stand part of the bill. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. Clauses 2 to 150 and the first to third schedules are adopted. Clause 1, the enacting formula and the title stand part of the bill. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. Clause 1, the enacting formula and the title are adopted. Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman ji to move that the bill be returned.
So I rise to move that the bill be returned.
Motion moved that the bill be returned. The question is that the bill be returned. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. The bill is returned. Honorable members, the House stands adjourned to meet at 11 a.m. on Friday, the 20th March 2025.
A serious matter. Nothing, honorable, nothing else will go on record. Nothing else will go on record. I have declined with a deep sense of anguish and pain that we rush to invoke breach of privilege. We rush to the media, give it traction, try to tarnish image, and I have said on number of occasions, this house will not be a platform to ruin reputations of people. We have to protect. I therefore, honorable members, on this sensitive occasion, honorable members, on this sensitive occasion, I seek to invite your attention that ethics committee in the entire country, the largest democracy, was formed for the first time in Rajya Sabha. This was headed by a very distinguished parliamentarian, veteran leader, former Chief Minister of Maharashtra, a senior cabinet minister, Shri S.B. Chauhan, a first of its kind. The report rendered on 1st December 1998, to which I have adverted earlier also, after wider consultations across parliamentarians, legislatures and public associations, a report was rendered. In that report, amongst numerous other situations, Shri S.B. Chauhan report says, firstly, members must conduct themselves in a manner that upholds the dignity of Parliament and preserves their personal credibility. Secondly, members bear the responsibility of maintaining exemplary standards of morality, dignity, decorum, and values in their public conduct. Honorable members, now Ethics Committee is headed by a distinguished parliamentarian, Shri Ghanshyam Tiwari. I am tasking the Ethics Committee to look into S.B. Chauhan Committee report on ethics and take note of the intervening situations mostly brought about by technological developments and social media, and evolve a mechanism, fresh guidelines for members for adherence.
क्या आपने चंद्रयान 3 को लॉन्च होते देखा है, या कैसे चंद्रयान 3 अंतरिक्ष में सफर करता है और कहां-कहां जाता है? आप में से बहुत से लोगों का जवाब होगा नहीं, लेकिन आप चंद्रयान 3 के लॉन्चिंग को देख सकते हैं